May peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. Today I want to speak to you, not as a mere spectator, but as a chosen by Allah. Someone who carries something invisible, something sacred, something many will never understand. This message is heavy, it is direct, it is profound, but it comes from the heart. And if you feel this message is meant for you, stay until the end, because at the end of this video, I will give you a powerful invocation, a prayer to help you stay standing, not to fail, even if everything in you wants to give up. But listen carefully. If you fail now, it won't be just you who suffers. Others will suffer through you, other elected officials, other souls who watch you in silence, who depend on your light without you even realizing it. You are not alone. You never have been. You are connected to something bigger, deeper, more spiritual than you can imagine. What you are experiencing right now, this heaviness, this inner pressure, this feeling of being at the end of your rope, it's not just tiredness. It is the weight of a final test, a silent test, invisible to the world, but which your soul feels fully. This is the moment when Allah wants to see, will my servant go all the way? Will he hold on, even when no one encourages him, even when all seems lost? And this test, my brother, my sister, you have no right to fail it. Not this time. Because if you fall now, you won't fall alone. There are people behind you. Souls who look up to you. Hearts that draw from your steadfastness the strength to continue. If you let go, they will also let go. You do not know how many times Allah has placed you as a shield between someone and despair. You don't know how many times your simple "I keep going" has kept someone from giving up. And that's why this test is tougher. Because you are no longer just an isolated soul. You are a spiritual anchor point, a landmark. And landmarks are not allowed to fall without consequence. So today, I invite you to open your heart, to listen not just with your ears, but with your soul. This video is not a distraction. It is not a motivational speech. It is a reminder of your rank, of your mission. And if you feel this tension, this pain, this dizziness within you, it's because your soul recognizes the gravity of the moment. I promise you that in the end, I will raise my hands for you. I will beg Allah to don't let yourself fail. But before that, listen to each step. Absorb every word. Because what you will hear today is not a series of sentences, but a wake-up sequence. A reminder that the world cannot afford to lose a soul like yours. This test may be silent, but it is cosmic. It plays out in the heavens. It impacts this world and the next. And you, chosen by Allah, you are at the center of this test. Do you know why this final test is so hard? It's not just because of what you're going through, but because of what you wear. You carry more than your own pain. You carry more than your own trials. You play a role you didn't ask for, but that heaven gave you. A role that people don't see, but that the angels recognize. When Allah elects a servant, He does not elect him for the sake of elevating him. He elects him because, through him, others must be saved. Others need guidance. Others need protection. So what you are experiencing today is not just your personal struggle. It is an invisible battlefield where you hold the line for many others. Each chosen one is a vital piece in a divine chessboard, and Allah places each piece with precision. He didn't place you here by mistake. He didn't let you experience these storms for nothing. You are a point of resistance, a bulwark. And when a wall falls, the walls behind become vulnerable. That's why your final test is quieter, deeper, more intimate. Because it's the test of the soul, not of the body. It is the test that decides whether you can carry not only your own weight, but that of a collective responsibility. And if you fail now, it's not just your blessings that end. These are entire streams of light that cease to reach those who are connected to you. But maybe you don't see it that way. You still think you're just another believer. You think if you give up, it won't change anything. You tell yourself, I'm too weak to be a source. And yet, there are people watching you silently. People observing your faith, even in your discretion. People who find strength in your struggle. And if you collapse, they also collapse. It's hard to hear, but it's the truth. You are important. You are needed. You don't have the luxury of stepping aside. You don't have the right to fail without thinking of those who will suffer from your abandonment. And this isn't to put pressure on you. It's to wake up to your worth. You didn't survive so much to end up in silence and failure. You made it this far. To become a pillar. Look at the prophets. None of them was chosen just for themselves. They all carried others. They all suffered so that others could breathe. And today, you too are part of this chain. A silent, invisible chain, but sacred. And each broken link weakens the whole. So yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's difficult. But you are chosen. And Allah does not choose at random. He chooses those whom He has already prepared in secret, those whom He has formed in tears, those whom He has cleansed in solitude. You are one of them. And this final test? It's there to reveal what you've become, not to break you, but to confirm you. To prove to the heavens that you are willing to wear what others can't even look at. This final test, you didn't see it coming. It didn't hit with a crash, like a sudden shock. It entered gently, without warning. It slipped into your daily life like a mist, light but suffocating. This is not a test of external war. It is a war invisible, silent, internal. And that's why it's so dangerous. Because it wears out your soul, little by little, until you think it's nothing, that you can take it a little longer until you're drained without even realizing it. The final test is not spectacular. It does not always come in the form of a major catastrophe. It may feel like prolonged fatigue, a loss of motivation for spiritual matters, a subtle distancing from prayer, dhikr, and reading the Quran. It can come in the form of routine, insensitivity, a void that you try to fill without understanding why it grows. And therein lies the trap. Because in this void, Shaitan whispers softly, "It's normal. You've given a lot. Rest." He wants you to fall asleep during the final stretch. He wants you to give up, just before opening. This test is an endurance race, and many of the chosen ones fall here, not because of violent sin, not because of an obvious rejection of the faith, but because of a progressive slide, unnoticed, which turns them off inside. And you, do you feel it? That strange emptiness, that silent weight, that heaviness in your chest when you stand up to pray? Do you feel that struggle to keep your heart alive in actions that you do every day? It's not that you are weak, it's that the final test has arrived, and He doesn't fight you head on. He gently caresses you towards the fall. But Allah loves you too much to let you sleep. He loves you too much to see you fail without warning. That is why you are here. That is why you are hearing these words. Because He wants you to recognize the enemy hidden behind this fatigue. that you understand that this is not just a difficult time. This is the final passage, and you have no right to miss it. Because around you, souls depend on your success. They don't say it, they don't show it, but they watch. They wait. They hope you'll stay standing, that you won't give in, because your surrender will take their breath away. Remember, the Prophet, at the hardest moment of his mission, stood firm. Even when his uncle died, even when Khadija radiyallahu anha left this world, even when the children of Taif humiliated him, he could have given up, but he didn't. And today, billions, many people pronounce the Shahada thanks to this consistency. So imagine what your own consistency can produce, even if you don't see immediate results, even if you think you're invisible. Allah sees. The angels write, heaven applauds. And every breath you hold in this final test, create a wave of light for those who come after you. You have no right to give up. Not now, not at this stage, not when you're so close. This final test is not just meant to tire you out. It seeks to make you doubt your own path. He whispers to you that maybe you weren't chosen. He makes you believe that everything you've built up to now, all the prayers, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights of tears may have been for nothing. It's a subtle attack, an invisible suggestion that you may have taken the wrong path. And that's when the pain becomes more intense. Because it's no longer just a trial. It's spiritual confusion. You know you've moved forward. You know you've resisted. But something inside you asks, what if all this isn't enough? Or worse, what if all this is useless? But listen to me carefully. This doubt you feel is proof that you are close. It is because you are approaching an important spiritual threshold that Shaitan intensifies his efforts. It is always just before the opening that he becomes most silently cruel. He knows that he can no longer stop you with major sins, so he attacks you with the fatigue of the soul. And yet, Allah has seen you crossing this desert. He has seen you struggle with your own ego. He has seen you give up certain people, certain pleasures, certain desires, to remain faithful to Him. And now, He's watching you at the most critical moment. The moment when many elected officials give up. But if you hold on, if you pass this final test, you will never be the same person again. You will enter a new level of light, stability, and guidance. You will become a source of strength, a refuge for those around you. And therein lies the danger of this test. If he makes you fall, he makes all those who hoped in your steadfastness fall with you. Look around you. You don't see them, but there are invisible eyes fixed on you. Souls who take your silence, your endurance as an example. Maybe your little brother, maybe a sister who follows you on social media, maybe a neighbor, a colleague, a childhood friend. They say nothing, but they pray through your faith. And if you give in, they will lose one of their last reasons to hold on. It's heavy, I know, but it's also grand, because it means you are more than just an individual. You are a pillar, a reference, a channel through which the divine light passes. And you have no right to block that light. You didn't suffer in vain. You didn't cry in vain. You didn't fight for years only to fail now. This final test is proof that you are moving up a level. And that's why it hurts so much. That's why everything seems to be falling apart. Because before every rebirth, there must be destruction. But this is not an end. It is a call. A cry from heaven to tell you, hold on a little longer. Hold on even if you can't take it anymore. Because your breakthrough is right behind this pain. And when you go through this final ordeal, you will never be the same again. You will be unstoppable. Have you ever thought about what your absence would cause? What this world would become if you stopped moving forward? If you decided to sit down, give up, be silent? Perhaps you believe you are replaceable. Perhaps you think your fight is solitary, without witnesses, without impact. But the truth, my brother, my sister, is that your fall would shake a balance much larger than you believe. When an elected official falls, it's not just a soul that's suffering. An entire spiritual network is cracking. People who quietly drew on your faith are losing their strength. Hearts that were held together by your example find themselves without a role model. Sensitive souls who silently observed you, without ever telling you, are beginning to doubt. Because your existence was silent proof that it was possible. It was possible to stand despite the pain. It was possible to remain pure in a dark world. It was possible to pray when you receive nothing. It was possible to trust Allah, even without understanding His plan. And you carried all this without realizing it. You were a beacon in the darkness. And today, in this final test, this torch is flickering. But you must know this. If you go out, others will lose their direction. Not because they were weak, but because they had chosen your example as a beacon. And Allah had placed you there, precisely for them. And not because you were perfect, but because you were sincere. And it was this sincerity that nourished them, reassured them, brought them back to Allah. There is nothing more painful for a generation than to see an elected official fall. Because an elected official is not a simple believer. He is a landmark, a quiet strength, proof that the effort is worth it. And when it fades, it is not only his light that disappears. It is a whole spiritual atmosphere that darkens. You may think you're not that kind of person, that you don't have that responsibility. But ask yourself this question. How many people saw your change and started to change? How many times have you received a message saying, "You inspired me. Thanks to you, I started praying again"? And even if you don't know it, Allah knows. He knows how many souls depend on your courage. He knows how many people rise when you rise. And that is why He tests you. Because He doesn't want you to fall. He wants you to understand the greatness of your mission. He wants you to appreciate the beauty of your position. You have no right to minimize what you have become. For Allah has built you stone by stone, in pain, in waiting, in solitude. He cleansed you of illusions. He kept you away from certain circles. He protected you even when you thought He had forgotten you. And all this was to establish you as a pillar in the center of a circle of souls. And now, at this point of the journey, He looks at you. He is waiting to see if you finally understand that your struggle is not selfish, that your endurance is not for your own success, that your elevation is meant for save those who do not yet have the strength to get up. It's not a burden, it's an honor. A heavy honor certainly, but sublime. And only hearts steeped in sincerity can carry it. And that heart is yours. Have you ever felt like everything inside you was screaming to stop? That every day seemed like a mountain to climb? That even prayers became heavy, tears dry, and your heart silent? If so, it is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you're coming at the top. Because this final test is not here to destroy you. It is here to extract from you what is purest. He is here to reveal a level of you that even you have never seen. You didn't know you could still hold on. You didn't know you could still walk, pray, wait. But Allah knew, and that's why He brought you here. Elected officials don't live lives like everyone else. They are not spared. They are exposed to deep pain, to long solitudes, to hurtful misunderstandings. But behind all this, there is wisdom. Each pain digs into their soul to better receive the divine light. Look around you. And many have fallen, and many have given up. But you're still here. You're in pain, yes. You have scars, but you're still here. And that fact alone makes you a silent hero. An elite believer. A role model the world ignores, but the heavens recognize. And do you know why it's so important to keep going now? Because at this point, every step you take has an immense weight. Every prayer, even if it is made without flavor, is an act of resistance. Every reminder you listen to, even in fatigue, is a shield that forms around you. Every Ya Allah whispered in the dark is a light that cleaves the darkness. And in this silence, you are not alone. Allah is with you. The angels pray for you. They watch over you. They surround you. They cry with you. You think you're being ignored, but the whole sky is speaking of you. It tells of your courage. It celebrates your patience. It sends signs to encourage you, sometimes in the form of words, sometimes in the form of reminders like the one you're listening to right now. Yes, this video you are hearing is not a coincidence. It is a divine help, a message sent from heaven directly to your soul. Because Allah loves you, because He doesn't want you to fall, because He knows that if you pass this test, you will become an unquenchable light. And if you fail, it's not the end, but it will be a huge loss, not just for yourself, but for everyone you were meant to help. That's why you must rise again, not out of fear, but out of love. Love for Allah, love for those who wait for you, love for this invisible mission that you have always carried without knowing it. You don't need any more proof. You've been through too much to still have doubts. What you feel, what you wear, what you experience. Everything screams one thing. You are being born into your true self. And one last thing. This moment you are living now, this deep fatigue, this ordeal that seems to never end, she won't come back. It's a unique passage. And if you cross it, you will pass into another dimension, another stability, another connection with Allah, another version of yourself, stronger, gentler, more grounded. So hold on a little longer, just a little longer, because the light is here, just after this last darkness. Now breathe. Stay in that silence for a moment. You have listened to every word. You have felt every truth. Your soul has been stirred, and your heart has understood that what you are experiencing is not ordinary. You are on a mission that Allah has entrusted to you in silence. You remained standing during this video. It is not by chance. It is proof that despite everything, you're still here. And that simple fact is a victory. You are the chosen one. Not because you are perfect, but because you never abandoned Allah. And now that you know the weight of your place, you can't back down. You can't live like you used to. You can't allow yourself to fall like no one's watching. You are watched by the heavens. You are supported by the invisible. I promised you a prayer. And here it is. Don't listen to it as a simple passage. Receive it as a celestial invocation, a spiritual weapon for the coming days. Ya Allah, He who sees the brokenhearted, He who supports the weary servants, look at your chosen one here. He remained until the end. He did not flee. He listened to your reminder. He resisted. Ya Allah, strengthen him. Give him a faith that nothing can extinguish. Protect his heart from despair. Raise his soul to heights that only your chosen ones reach. Make him a light to this world and a voice in the unseen. And if he falls again, raise him up again until he reaches what you have promised. Ameen. If you are touched, share this light, not for me, For another elected official who struggles in silence, may your endurance become contagious. And never forget, if you hold on, you will save souls.